So, welcome to Beauty of Colors podcast, Dr. Audrey. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you again for having me. It's an honor.
You're welcome. So, Dr. Audrey, tell the listeners about you and what was the driving force of you getting into your field?
Great question. So I started out in my school career, educational career as a clinical psychologist, master's in clinical psychology, and worked in that field as a psychotherapist. I actually did my internship in one of the last state psychiatric hospitals. So you can just imagine, and worked as a garden variety psychotherapist. And then got into geriatrics again as a diagnostician and researcher. And that got me really interested in research. So instead of going to medical school, I got a PhD in epidemiology and biostatistics, which nobody ever knows what that is, but basically public health and research. And worked in a variety, worked in genetics, a lot of chronic diseases. Yeah, you name it. The best part of being old is you have gotten to do a lot of different things. And then really kind of came full circle back to, people um, and psychology, mental health. So I'm a coach. And it's why? For some reason, and I can kind of trace some of the roots from college and courses, I've just always been fascinated by how people change. We all want to change. And for most of us, it's sometimes an uphill struggle. And I've always been fascinated by it. I had a really, I would say, great childhood, but my parents were chronically ill. My mother was very depressed. And so it also, I think, was an urge to understand what what I experienced, what I struggled with, and just have always wanted to help people grow. I don't know if I was just born this way or what, but I've just always really valued and been motivated by personal growth, especially my own.
Wow. So Audrey, tell us, how can someone master self-sabotage, master their emotions, and reach their
Uh,
goals? Is there a formula for that?
um, well, I don't know that there's a formula, but I think that the first step is always to take care of ourselves. You can't be at your best. I mean, people always say, what's a great tip for ending self sabotage? I'm like, get enough sleep. We just can't do anything well, I believe, if we're not healthy. So that the mental health and the physical health, not surprisingly, just go hand in hand. And the next step, of course, is awareness and realizing that no, you're not crazy. We know what we want to do, but we don't do it. And often that, and we feel like failures, we get discouraged, we think there's something wrong with us. Um, so understanding that this comes from our survival instinct, that wants to keep us safe. Any change, even if it's change we think we want, like, I don't know, losing weight or going to school or creating a business, feels like a threat. And so we're wired for survival. That's just our basic biology, physiology, neurology, and it will win if we let it, because it's been around a lot longer than our higher brain. And so the first step is really understanding where this comes from, that we're not crazy, that we're not failures, and really learning how to master our emotions, because it's really the basis of that self-sabotage, is that fear. So I personally believe that we don't have limiting beliefs, we have limiting feelings.
Mhm.
If I get on my soapbox a little bit, but if you push most people who say, well, I have this limiting belief that I can't make more than $100,000, and you ask them, gee, do you really 100% believe that? And their logical brain doesn't. They'll say, well, no, I know it's not true, but it feels true. I can't get past that feeling. So it's really learning how to deal with our emotions and being able to label our emotions, experience a full range of emotions, not just turning everything into anger or everything into sadness. And that allows us to really start to work towards our goals in a healthy way. Not that self-sabotage doesn't come up. I mean, people think, well, aren't I done with this? Well, no, because every time you want to grow, as we say, new level, new devil,
Yeah, it's true.
it pops up its little head, and that inner critic goes, who are you to try this? Why would you think you can be successful? Who do you think you are? And we have to learn to recognize that that voice is the voice that's trying to keep us safe, not the voice of truth.
So, Dr. Audrey, what are some of the ways that one can, I know you talked about it a little bit, but what are some of the ways that one can eliminate emotional triggers and they can declutter their lives?
Well, the first again is awareness,
Mm.
and I think if we're really value self growth, I think we have to get curious and really listen to ourselves. And I personally believe it's a journey we can't do alone because we just don't have the perspective. We can't, we're the pickle in the jar that can't read the label. We don't see our blind spots. So, and that's why I'm a coach, because I personally believe that it's coaching that helps us. We need someone else to see our blind spots. We need someone else to push us when we need to be pushed, someone to cheer us on when we need to be cheered on. And your friends and family won't do it for you. They won't. And you usually, myself included, won't listen. When it's something positive, I'm like, oh, you're only saying that because you love me. And when it's something not so positive, I'm like, F up. So we really need somebody we trust, who has our best interest at heart, who is one of the things I do for my clients is I'll just say it, I'm really good at seeing what they don't see and allowing them, reflecting it back so that they can see it. We figure out what those blind spots are, what those underlying emotions are. And everybody's different. It usually all comes down to fear, but learning to manage that, learning to take care of our nervous system so that we're not in survival mode, which is like so crucial right now because of what's going on in the world. We're all very easily triggered. And again, I believe that we have to get out of survival mode so that we can think clearly and feel powerful, take powerful actions. The easiest way to control people is to put them into survival mode. So that's my soapbox.
Okay. So where can the listeners get in touch with you? Do you have any speaking engagements? Do you have online courses? Do you
I
do you have a book that you're
I'm working on a book.
okay, good, good, excellent. So tell
I'm
us a
working
little
on
bit
a
about
book.
the book. Yeah.
Yes, and my website is simply audreyschnell.com. And I'm doing starting April 1st, I'll be releasing my new docu-series featuring approximately 10 experts. It's the Quantum Growth series,
Mhm,
and it really is about maximizing our health and wealth so that we can reach our full potential
mhm.
and live the life we desire. I know
So
that
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the biggest wake up call for me at one point was just getting in touch with what was I holding back. I didn't want, I'll just be really transparent and honest. I mean, I had this vision of my gravestone saying, it's so sad she had so much potential. And I thought, that's not where I want to end up. And that's not where I want others to end up, feeling like they held themselves back and never accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, never reached their goals, whatever those goals are. and not reach their full potential, who they are.
So what is your website again? So you do have information on your website about
Mhm.
what you talked about. Is there any study guides or anything like that or no?
I have some free downloads. So 7 tips for mastering your emotions. And also they reach out to me. I have some journal questions, and I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn.
Sounds great. So do you have any idea when your book is going to be out or you're not too sure? You're working on it.
Yeah, that's. I've had a interesting 2.5 years. My husband and I moved from Idaho to West Virginia. The last 2.5 years have been a lesson in resilience. We've been flooded out. We've been without running water, you name it. So things are a little bit lifes,
Mhm.
but hopefully by the end of the year, hopefully even sooner. And uh, I really think that we talk about, and this is what the book will talk about. We all say sometimes, well, it's the journey that matters. Well, the truth is, we all want results. So relying on those platitudes sometimes does us a disservice. So it's really about getting also, yes, we need the journey, but we also want results.
I guess it's what goes along the journey. It's not only getting to the destination, but what goes along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We learn, we grow, we experience the road along the way, but we also get to, enjoy the results. If we want to lose weight, we get to lose weight. If we want to make money, we get to make money. If we want to, develop a new product or a new whatever, we get to do that.
Sounds good. I can't wait to read your book.
Oh, thank you.
Let me
Thank
know
you.
when it's out so I
I
can
will.
back
I
and
will.
okay.
Absolutely. And coming up in a few weeks, if you look for me on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, you'll see information about the upcoming uh, quantum growth speaker series.
So will you have different like speakers on there,
Yeah.
like 10? How
Yeah,
many?
probably around 10 speakers. So it's more of a mini summit, very, very focused on health and wealth so that you can live the life you desire, reach your full potential, reach your goals. And also, I want it will also be a fresh look at things. We've heard the same platitudes, over and over again. Know your why, or, I don't, you have limiting beliefs. So I really want to take a fresh look at our behavior, our emotions, self-sabotage, and get people really excited and hopeful again about, yes, I can make these changes. I can live the life I want to live.
So do you have any last words for the listeners in creating small habits that they can kind of stick to and kind of do so that they can reach the bigger goals?
Sure. So my first one, like I said, is always take care of your body, take care of your health, get enough sleep. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody works better under pressure. It just makes them work. So get enough sleep. And interestingly enough, I I I don't really believe in habits. And I'll tell you why. Habits are hard. Ask people who've tried to develop new habits. It's not easy. And there's so much, oh, you got to do it for 90 days. You got to do it for 120 days. And it's just hard. What's easier and what comes naturally is to focus on who you want to be. And a really simple example is, I walk into a store, I don't have to stop myself from stealing. I don't have to stop myself from, grabbing stuff off the shelf. Why? Because I know I'm not a thief. I don't identify with that at all. And so when we focus on our identity and who we are and strengthen that by our behaviors, by our thoughts, by our rituals, we the habits, the behaviors come naturally. If I know I'm a healthy person who values home cooking and healthy foods and I don't eat junk food, if I know that's who I am, it's very easy to drive right past the McDonald's. And if I go to that McDonald's, I'm going to feel really uncomfortable because it elicits what we in psychology call cognitive dissonance. It doesn't feel right. I'm doing something that feels wrong to me. Use that discomfort to help push you towards who you want to be.
Nicely said, Audrey. So, Audrey, thank you for being on Beauty of Colors podcast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.